Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I've given recording privileges to Roger Clark, and also to Stefan. Is there anybody else who wants recording privileges, please? No? Okay. So, Roger, it'll be you to lead us off if that's okay. And if anyone else has any questions, please let me know through the chat facility, please. So, Roger, whenever you're ready, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, Owen. Good to see you. Commiserations on the defeat. First of all, are you wondering exactly what happened there after the start that Jonny and Jason gave you, that you went from 135 for no loss to end up by losing by 66 runs?
No, not really. I know exactly what happened. We made mistakes, and India bowled well at us. I think for the majority of today's game, we played really, really well. And it's a shame that we couldn't build on both the bowling unit's effort to restrict India to 318 and our two fantastic openers, the way that they played up front. We sort of failed to continue to build partnerships from there, and that was what happened, really.
What can you put that down to, bearing in mind there were runs obviously there to be made, as the openers showed? What was it about the rest of the top order, the middle order, that weren't able to do as those guys had done already?
Yeah, I think so. I think India, hit good lengths. I thought the wicket we played on today was outstanding. It offered a little bit for the seamers and was beautiful if you managed to get yourself in. So when obviously Jonny and Jason established a partnership in the fashion that they did, that's the way that we want to play, and imposed themselves on the game. When other players tried to do that, India held their own and held their lengths really well. And I think that's evident in the way that guys got out. They were all playing attacking, positive options, which is a nice insight into the mindset of guys, the way they play. I think if we were all getting out, sort of prodding or playing defensively, it'd be a bigger issue.
Can I ask about your injury? You looked like a cut hand in the field. You came out to bat. Is it something that you were able to play with comfortably?
We're going to wait 48 hours and see how it is. I split my webbing, and obviously Sam had a knock on his collarbone, so we're going to wait a while and give them obviously as much time as needed to hopefully be available for Friday.
There's a chance that you might not be available, you yourself and Sam?
I think two different instances. Obviously, when you have a split webbing, fielding is a concern. And with Sam obviously landing while he's fielding and being able to play the shots that he does and throw. Oh, sorry, it's his left side, so it's not throwing.
Just fine. Oh, sorry, carry
on. No, go for it.
Yeah, just finally from me, looking ahead to the next couple of games, can you envisage, aside from the injuries, many more changes to the team?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to try and give the majority of the players within the squad an opportunity to play. 50 over cricket for us has been the vehicle to grow our squad and to try and improve beyond our best 11 players on the field. So there will be opportunities for guys coming in.
Thanks a lot. All the best.
Cheers. Thank you, Roger.
Stefan, please.
Hello, Owen. After that great start, you were looking for a contribution from sort of the middle and the lower order, some guys who haven't had a lot of batting recently. Was that a detrimental effect, some of that rustiness?
I don't think we could have asked for better conditions if we're looking to get runs. So certainly when it comes to myself, the wicket that we played on, yes, maybe tough starting on it, but once you get yourself in and get past that stage, you couldn't ask for a better ground to go and bat and find some form and get some balls and runs under your belt.
Obviously, you went off. I think it was in the 41st over, and India had a strong finish to their innings. I don't know how much you were able to see if you were getting stitched up at that time or anything like that, but what did you make of it? Do you think almost that England lost their way a little bit at that point?
No, I don't think so. I think like the ground we're playing at is, it's a really good batting wicket if you get yourself in, and the boundaries are not that big. So to hold India at bay for that long, I think was a fantastic job from our bowlers.
Ben Stokes was promoted to number 3. He had an impact with the ball. You talked before this game about how good it was to have him back playing one day internationals. What did you make of his day?
Yep, pretty good. He contributed where possible. Obviously, moving up to number 3 is something that he's done for a short period of time, a long time ago. But Ben is more than capable of fulfilling that role. He's one of our best batters in all formats. So yeah.
And similarly, Moeen Ali, he hasn't played a lot of cricket, and it looked maybe like he was someone who, going well, he maybe got you over the line at one point.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest or the strongest points about our batting lineup is that Moeen comes in at 7, Sam Curran at 8, and our top 7 batters have all scored pretty quick international hundreds. So it's less than 60 balls in majority of the cases. So it's a nice position to be in, but obviously we want to make it count as well.
Thanks, Owen.
Cheers, thank you.
Dave Charlesworth, please.
Hi, Owen. Does what happened in the batting maybe emphasise the importance of Joe Root at 3 in the order? I suppose not that it was particularly needed, because obviously you know how important Joe is.
Yeah, Joe's world class, particularly in that number 3 spot for us. His role is such an important one for us, and obviously him missing out does leave a big hole. But Joe needs a rest and he needs some time at home with his family.
And can I just ask, I've touched on it earlier, so apologies if I'm bringing it up again. Did your hand impact your batting, and did Sam's injury impact his?
Sorry, can you say that again? I missed that bit. Impact what?
Sorry, did your hand injury, did it impact your batting, and did Sam's injury, did it impact his?
I haven't spoken with Sam about his batting, so I don't know in his instance. In mine, it's never going to be at 100%, but it's not that I can't hold a bat.
Thanks.
Chris Stocks, please.
Hi, Owen. Obviously a tough defeat today, but do you guys feel like you can get back into the series and win it from here, despite disappointment?
Yeah, absolutely. I really think we're a dangerous side to play against, particularly the way that we went about our business for the majority of today's game. I think if we'd have played really well and been on top form, we'd have chased that total down in no time. But that wasn't meant to be. India are a tough side to beat. They're one of the best sides in the world majority of the time. So given, we always compared them to a side like Australia that are very consistent when it comes to their white ball cricket. So it's always a tough challenge playing against them.
And you need to win at least one of these final 2 games to hang on to that number 1 ranking. How fiercely do you guard that, and how proud are you of that status?
We don't fiercely guard. We actually don't guard it at all. It's not something that we talk about in the change room. Everything is built towards planning, being competitive at a World Cup, and trying to improve our skills over that period of time.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew Miller, please.
Virat Kohli said at the post-match that this was one of his biggest victories in recent past. He's a really proud man, etc. I mean, obviously, to beat the world champions is never a mean feat, but I guess a lot of the messaging from yourself in this series has been very much about learning and building the squad and expanding. How difficult is it to sort of maintain the hunger that you need to sort of cement your number one status while at the same time doing all the other things you're trying to achieve with the squad?
Yeah, again, it's not about cementing the number one status. It's about building a group of players that hopefully will bring something really, of quality in a World Cup. I think both, if you talk about motivation or determination, both that and learning go hand in hand. So the competitive nature in which we operate isn't always about learning and making mistakes. I think sometimes people take, how much quality you have to produce in an international game to win for granted. You can't just have a good plan and win a game, or you can't just learn along the way and lose a game. It has to work simultaneously.
That's it. I mean, I suppose the one thing that was clear towards the back end of your build-up to the World Cup was the confidence within the team. You felt as though you could win for any situation, because you usually did. I mean, is it important to keep winning to keep that confidence?
I think the one thing winning does is speed up the learning process. I think to do things the hard way, you go through long periods of time and losing games over and over again, and landing a message or trying to get players to improve becomes very difficult, because they're not up. The team as a whole wouldn't be up to the standard of competing, never mind building towards a World Cup. I think we're lucky in the fact that we're already at the stage where we can compete. But obviously building on top of that and tweaking as we go along is a hugely important factor, because you become exposed to different situations, and then you gain points of reference the whole way along your journey, and try and re-engage with them if you experience them in a World Cup situation.
Oh, thank you.
4 more now, please. Dean Wilson, Will McPherson, Shashwat Kumar and Anshul Gupta. Dean Wilson first, please.
Yeah, hi Owen. I think you said before the 19 World Cup, or certainly in the build-up from 15, that you had to just explore what was possible for your team in order to get yourselves up to a level where you could compete. Where do you think that the team actually have to go in order to make whatever changes are necessary to make that improvement for the next World Cup? Because you keep saying that the game moves forward, the game keeps changing, it keeps getting better. Where is it that you think your team needs to push next?
Yeah, well, just if you look at the graph, say since white ball, say T20 cricket for instance, is the biggest impact our game has ever seen. The numbers in T20 cricket and 50 over cricket have always consistently become more and more when setting totals or chasing totals, and that's part of the natural evolution of the game. And I think that continues to increase the whole time. And in order to be a part of that trend, or to be up with that trend, you need to be pushing yourself. I think if you play within yourself and are happy and content with a certain game plan that exists right now, that isn't up for negotiation in changing along the way, I think that creates a problem.
I just wondered whether you thought that maybe bowling might come back, might just bring things back a little bit, and I wondered whether, or how happy or otherwise you were with England's defensive bowling, bearing in mind, with the T20s and now the ODIs, the attacking bowling, taking wickets up front seems to have gone forward, has improved, but you've leaked quite heavily at the back end of innings, either setting or chasing. So I just wondered whether you thought that was something that you needed to freshen up maybe.
It's definitely an area of improvement in the T20 format, but I can't fault the guys today. I thought they were brilliant. They did exactly what was expected on a wicket, like today, and again chasing 318 at the halfway stage. Even before the game, I'd have taken 318.
Okay.
Will McPherson, please.
Hi Owen, just on a similar note about the bowling, one of the few players who kind of definitively moved on from since the 2019 with big wickets. Today, that happened. Mark Wood, I think, took a couple. Ben Stokes took a couple. How do you see your options inside and outside the squad in that role that Liam did so well at the 2019 World Cup?
Yeah, I think it's whatever way you can create opportunity, whether it's really good accuracy on a length with a good bouncer, or it's going to be variations or spin. I think only time will tell. I think looking at different options outside of our group can also help. And I think, tournaments like the 100 where guys are being put under pressure the whole time, possibly playing on hybrid pitches, will create a pressure situation where guys need to learn and gain better skills in order to produce. And I think if they can do that against high quality players, there's definitely a chance they'll be looked at.
Was Plunkett quite unique in the way that he did things, and that England aren't just going to have a like-for-like replacement come straight in for this World Cup cycle? If that makes sense. Yeah,
I think when we look at roles that were fulfilled by every single player within the side, or somebody coming in a role from 1 to 11, the honest answer is, unless it's something as basic as hitting a length, we don't know if that role will still be there in 3 years' time. So trying to explore different options is important, and to have different options is important as well.
Thanks.
Two more now. Shashwat Kumar, then Anshul Gupta. Shashwat, please.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
So there has been a particular trend in both the ODI and T20 series. India has scored quite heavily towards the back end of the innings, whereas England have struggled. What, in your opinion, possibly explains that trend?
I'd say that our top order has batted better than our middle order. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anshul Gupta, finally, please.
Hey, Eoin, my question was, how do you assess a game like this where you were bossing the game at many junctures in the game, and then you were, like, in the end just fizzled out? So how do you assess a game like this, and what do you need to change much going into the next two games on this season?
I think the method in which we went about our business today is the right method in which we play, and it has worked over the last 5 years for us. So that's really encouraging. Obviously, on the back of our bowling performance and our two openers, the way that they played and really controlled the game is extremely positive. And obviously, areas that we lacked, were building partnerships after the openers got out. So again, areas of improvement, we'll be looking at that and trying to build partnerships. But I don't envisage huge changes.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Marcus.